Welcome to the Educate and Elevate podcast, the HRA Business Podcast. I'm John Jaramillo, President of the Hispanic Restaurant Association. We're here with Chen Heffer, the CEO of CyTech. This is a particularly important relationship to us as we move forward as part of the Hispanic Restaurant Association. Our world, as we both know, and you know more so than I do, but you and your son Amit have educated us about all the different things that are going on out there digitally, how we protect ourselves. Because, we always think when we think about protecting, how do we harden things? Is it the physical, the cameras, all these things? Right. But then there's that digital shield that we've talked about that I'd like to showcase to the world that you guys do at a world-class level. Right. So, you're the CEO of CyTech. You were founded in 2017. To my understanding, correct me on any numbers of what I do wrong here. You have 70 employees. Located throughout the U.S., but you were originally founded in Israel?
Right.
Okay, and so let's talk about that part. But before we get to that part, I want to learn more about you. Yeah. I mean, about your history in Israel. Obviously, as an American fighting man, we both have that in common. We're both, military. We say ex-military, but it never really leaves.
It never leaves you.
Right? Exactly. So let's talk about that. And, where you were born. Your short, history in Israel. Not as in long time, but we just don't have that much time for the podcast because, we've had quite a few conversations before this, and you and I could go forever. Right. And, we're a father-son team. You guys, you and Amit are father-son team, which is great. Just like my son and I at the Hispanic Restaurant Association, we just do a lot of things together. They complement us. They enhance what our, they just call us the old guys, and but they're the real superstars of this. So, but let's start. Tell me about you.
Sure. So, first of all, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here, and it's an honor.
Well, likewise.
Yep. So you're asking a lot of questions about my history, and I get it. My history kind of lines up with the history of online, the digital world. We're both Gen X, right? Right. Both Gen X.
I'm right on that edge between X and Boomer. So
I'll give you X.
Okay, fair enough.
And we're the last generation that knows how the world works without internet, without the digital world. So we're, if you may, we're kind of the bridge between the old world, new world today, and what we see today. The digital world is an outcome of everything that we went through as humanity, as the world around us, from the old school to the new school that we see today. We treat the digital world as something that is out there. But it's not just out there. It's out there because we made it out there. So the ambition, the attraction to the digital world, to technology, started right after my military service in Israel. I served for 3 years there, combat unit, and
so the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces. Well, pound for pound, they're known as one of the best fighting units in the world.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Very proud of that, and very proud of what you did for the country as well. And after 3 years in the unit, kind of looking for myself, trying to figure out who I am and what I want to do, traveling to Africa, landing on a beach in Mombasa in Kenya, and looking at the Indian Ocean and deciding I might do technologies because I think that's where the money is. So I go back to Israel and I go and take the first class and I ace that one and take the second class. Computers back then, to 1995, that was the time that everything started booming, right? Computers went from computers somewhere to PCs at home. And that's really the golden age of PCs and computers, and then later on connectivity and networking and internet. So first years of my life, I studied a lot and I took all these professional courses, and I dared technology, to understand technology, the ins and outs. I also was fortunate enough to do part of my reserve service in doing a lot of work for the IDF, but also outside the IDF for some intelligence part of the Israel Defense Forces. Right. I can't talk much about that, but so I was fortunate enough to be around 15 years of that.
If you tell me, you have to kill me. I use that line all the time.
And everybody else out there.
Okay, that's true. Yeah. I understand.
So I might just
cut that
do
part
that.
Out.
Right.
But just it's all the guys joking, everybody.
Yeah. So I was fortunate enough to have 15 years in reserve. In parallel to that, building my civilian career, and while doing that, I was attracted to understanding of what it is that technology can do for us that the originator, the builder, the designer did not intend for it to do for us. Back then, we didn't call it cyber. We didn't even call it information security. We call it information assurance because information was out there. People shared information through those infrastructures, and that information should have been kept, the integrity of the information should have kept high. And that's what we really saw in front of us. We didn't really see the hacking, the cyber challenges that are today. And that attracted me to do more and understand more of how those technologies affect our life in ways that we don't even imagine. Later on in my life, I got married. I had my son, Amit, back in 2003. And then
I can
on,
verify for the audience that he's a good kid. He's a good guy.
He's a good kid. Yeah,
he's in the background.
Yeah, he's here with us. Yeah, yep, the pride of my life. And his sisters, 2 years between them, and then another one, 2011. And I felt like on the top of the world here. However, started teaching, started doing a lot of cybersecurity, worked for one of the big four accounting firm, worked for Deloitte, and felt like
there's... Did you say Deloitte?
Deloitte.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah, it's a big one. I did establish the security and privacy practice in Israel for Deloitte Israel.
Oh, nice.
And I always felt that there's something else out there, something that I'm not seeing, something that I'm not doing. So I started teaching, and I got like combining the two main attractions of my life: cybersecurity and technology, and teaching. I always say if I was not doing my career in cybersecurity, I would probably end up being a teacher in high school because that's where I find it fun to be.
Do you have a particular subject that you like besides cybersecurity?
Physics, math.
Oh,
I love those, but and I always tell my kids, I kind of taught myself that one as I grew up, challenges in life, but teaching myself helped me teaching others.
Right.
And that's really what I do with cybersecurity. I figured it out on my own. And I took classes.
Also, all your knowledge is self-taught?
Self-taught.
Did anything you did in the military when you were the IDF, did that
absolutely,
help?
But never really took a course in anything.
Okay.
I always, found myself dealing with things, mastering them, and then, can you teach others? And that was really the way that I grew in this field of cybersecurity. I taught myself I had to deal with challenges, I had to deal with incidents, I had to deal with all this cyber.
It's kind of it was an emerging field because people didn't understand the threats out there initially.
The first time that we actually heard the word cybersecurity together was 2010. I was already 15 years in the industry.
Oh, that word's only
right.
That's not that old.
It's very new. It's 15, 16 years old. That's it. That's all cybersecurity. Before that, we called it information security, but that wasn't enough because it doesn't sound too expensive. Right. Cybersecurity sounds very expensive, sounds very sexy, and people can use that to attract more people, right? So cybersecurity was a buzzword in 2010, and that's where I found myself start working for my own, being an independent consultant. And consultancy is like teaching to me. So I worked with a lot of people around the world. And again, I found myself like there's something else out there. There's something that is not really brought to the table of organizations. In 2013, we moved from Israel to the US following a business opportunity that we had here. And then I ended up working for Kaiser Permanente, and then I worked for the government, and doing a lot of work in cybersecurity with the big boys here in the US. And that was very impressive to me to see.
So how did you go from, you came here for a business opportunity, and then you went into, you said Kaiser Permanente?
Kaiser Permanente,
and then KPMG, or no, Deloitte, I'm sorry.
No. Started with Deloitte. 2013 was recruited by Kaiser Permanente here in the US, and then moved to the government, local government, Douglas County. I was doing CISO role there.
Explain that for the audience, what a CISO
role
is.
A CISO, Chief Information Security Officer, is the head of cybersecurity.
Right.
It's basically the person that is accountable when everything falls down.
Meaning ransomware, meaning
everything that
security,
falls down. Right. When you have an
from
incident,
a cybersecurity perspective.
When you have an incident, when you have something major, all eyes are on you.
Right.
You're the commander in the field, right? You're the one to make the
You
decisions.
have the football.
Right. You have the football. Now this is your time. This is the time to shine. So I managed a few incidents like that, and I always learn more and more and more about how this field is very. I'm being careful because I have a lot of colleagues out there, but this field is very immature, and that taught
define
me a
what
lot.
you mean by immature.
There you go. So the immaturity or the lack of maturity that we see in the field is the chase after more money of what we already have. So it's what I see out there is that this field attracts everyone. Whether they did something in their life with cybersecurity, whether they built their career over the decades, whether they are something that they are someone that I can rely on in terms of their knowledge and experience, or they're just visitors. The past couple of years, they happened to know the right person to put them in the right position, call them CISO, and now they're cyber experts standing on a stage and confusing everybody. There's a lot of
so their knowledge level is surface level versus true cybersecurity
But a lot of
expert.
people know how to speak the language, right? The language that I speak with you. But how many people can say, I know how really things work under the hood of everything for businesses?
I think in the software world, Drew, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're called tech bros. Yeah, tech bros. So that's what you saw. You're seeing with these guys, these CISOs that have these very surface level. They would be in the software world we call tech bros. They're just, as I always teasingly say, the pretty face, but they don't really know anything.
Right.
So your knowledge is much deeper than that.
Right.
And you're trying to make the cybersecurity more mature in the sense of knowledge.
Correct.
Okay.
And what I did the past 17 years is that I was training groups under certain academy institutions in Israel, here in the US. I was training groups to become better CISOs and got them certified and got them all over the world. Over 2,000 students by today.
Oh, really?
Yep, around the world.
Now, was this a curriculum you developed?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes, based on experience and based on knowledge and all that. So the thing that I always missed in the field is how come you call yourself a great CISO and all that? How come you don't share the knowledge with us? And if you're so knowledgeable, and if you're so great at what you do, and if cybersecurity is so complex, why don't you share this with us so we all know how to do it?
Right? Gotta be better.
We all want to protect what we have because the goal is not cybersecurity. The goal is safety. The goal is security. The goal is continuity of operations for businesses, continuity of operations for individuals, right? We don't want to worry about cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is like the engine under the hood in my car. I have no idea what's going on there, but I rely on it to work, right?
So you're like a digital shield around the digital assets of a company.
Right. So 2017, we went back to Israel. We had some personal motivations there to go back to Israel.
Okay.
And then, unfortunately, 2019, we were on top of the world. We started CyTech together, me and my wife, Gali. And we were on top of the world 2019. I finished a month and a half project working with the government in Jamaica. Worked with the police, with the government, with all the ministries there. And then after 6 weeks in a suit in Kingston, in the heat of Kingston, 7 days a week in a suit, I called Gali and I'm like, okay, the project is done. I'm back going back home. But before we go back home to Israel, I'm going to meet you in Milan and we're going to go do the trip in Venice that you always wanted.
So I know where this is going.
So we did. And we went and we met in Milan and we went to this concert of Phil Collins. And we went and did a trip in Venice, and it was awesome. The kids were home in Israel, didn't need to worry about them. And that was our last trip together outside Israel, because when we came back to Israel, a month and a half later, Gali was diagnosed with GBM, glioblastoma, brain cancer, stage 4, the most violent one. And the doctors gave her four months to live. And that was September 5, the day after my birthday, 35th birthday. We were on top of the world. We were on the Olympus. We got CyTech, we got the consulting company, we got training, we got Jamaica project, we got everything. And then this happens. And the world collapses. So now we deal with this, and the kids need to deal with this. And then those were the early days of COVID in the world. So everything is shutting down. And what do you do? How do you break the news? How do you even deal with this? We have 4 months. Like, we've been together for 25 years by then. And how do you live a life? So Gali went through all the treatments. She was a lioness all her life. Like, she taught me so much about how to deal with life, and the bison approach that I have, like, head first, go deal with the heavy things first. It's all from her. She taught me how to do that. And then 4 months and a little bit, I took her to a restaurant, and it was COVID and all that, and something is shut down, some not shut down, some of them open. People didn't really know how to react to that, but I found a restaurant, and I took her to the restaurant, her and the kids, and she's like, "What are we celebrating?" Because it's not a birthday. I was like, "We're celebrating winning cancer, because from today on, every day we win cancer together. We and the kids."
Oh, wow.
And forget CyTech, forget the cybersecurity, forget everything.
It's about family.
It's about you, right. And obviously the adjustments and changes that we went through in CyTech, going from working with our customers. I personally did 3 years, 1 week every month, working in Africa for various clients there. But I was traveling every month, and now I cannot do that anymore because COVID is happening. So CyTech as a whole needs to change the mindset of how to do training, how to do cyber consultation, how we work with our customers, how we are CISOs of organizations. And in parallel to that, there's home, there's family, which is the most important thing.
Right.
So we dealt with that at home, and then we won cancer every day after those 4 months. And Gali lived 18 months and 17 days with a glioblastoma from diagnosis to her last day with us. But she passed surrounded by all of us together around her, me and the kids and family and all the loved ones around her together on March 22, 2021.
Wow. Well, I've never had on a podcast somebody almost make me cry.
So, when she passed,
I'm sorry to hear that.
When she passed, that's something that is engraved in my head.
I can only imagine.
That picture, like, a lot of people can attest on losing their close ones, but she passed. The last thing that she did was this, smile.
Smile? Wow.
She was with her eyes closed. She took the last breath, but you saw her lips move. And that's the thing that all those people out there that know Gali and you, Gali, they cannot forget the smile. She was constant smile. We were 27 years together. Gali is a smile.
Wow. Wow. That's an amazing story.
Yeah. So, that was a pause in life.
Yeah. And I know things like that, those things that happen in life like that, you never, ever get over it.
Right.
You just learn how to manage it.
You learn how to manage, and you grow with it.
Right.
Today, I can tell you we win cancer every day. Wow. We win cancer. I met my wife, May, and we now have another baby. So life was taken, and life was brought. Again.
Wow.
And this is Leo, Amit's little brother. There's 20 years between them.
Oh, that's the one I saw when we were on our Zoom call.
Yep,
very nice.
Yep. So they're playing at home, and he always wanted to have a brother. Gali and I gave him 3 sisters, but now he has his little brother, 20 years apart, but they're
very good.
Fun together, and I love that, and I thank God for every moment that we have together. And this is, to me, the great plan. I do cybersecurity because I'm good at it.
Right.
It wasn't my passion to begin with. I looked for money. I looked for a career. Right. I looked for a way to survive in this digital world, so I decided to do technology. But now it's a passion. It's a gift, and that's the part that I was looking for in others. I'm asking what else is missing in that field, and the thing that is missing in that field is sharing your knowledge.
Right.
And as fortunate as I was to be in all these right places in the world, and the tragedy that my family went through taught me one thing: nobody has tomorrow. Right. So what right do I have to take all the knowledge and experience that I gained over the years and keep it to myself? Every day that I share it, every day that I do something for others with it, I feel like I'm fulfilling the plan that put me here.
Right. And that's how you came to us. It was Drew and Amit that met, in the co-working space, and they found out that they kind of both liked technology.
The same age, I think.
Exactly.
22, yeah.
And it was like, oh, you do that? Oh, no, you do that? And so it was kind of cool. And then when I met Amit, I can't remember the other young lady's name. Both you guys were in the IDF, and anybody that's ever served, I'm automatically, oh, you're cool. Yeah. You're cool. So, and but I noticed when we met, we kind of talked further, and we saw a potential, partnership. And how we. But did you wanted to impart or help give your knowledge to the smaller restaurants? And that's one of the HRA's goals, is to give education and knowledge, and in this case, digital protection that all the big boys have or franchise have, but never been available to the smaller restaurateur. Right. And that's what I was so interested in at the HRA. I'm like, oh, you'll do this. And then, it took a few back and forth meetings. Okay, we just had some technical difficulties. I always have plan B.
You cannot trust technology, right?
Technology.
That's what I do.
We had to go to plan B.
I do cybersecurity because I hate technology. Exactly. I cannot trust it.
Well, where we left off, and I was like let loose with a couple of curse words that he like. Thank God I didn't hit
I wasn't the record
button. So we were reminiscing about the good old days in the military. But one of the things that we at the HRA want to do is educate and elevate, and you want to do the same thing with CyTech and the cybersecurity. So what do you see is like a big vulnerability? Like we're going increasingly digital with AI, with all the tools out there. Everything we know is digital.
Right.
And that's really how we interconnect. Everything's going at a faster pace.
Right.
So what are the dangers like a restaurateur would face?
Let me ask you a question. It's around lunchtime now, right? Getting hungry?
Yeah.
What do you do?
What do I do? I go to a restaurant and give somebody my credit
either
card.
Either you go to a restaurant, old school, right?
Right.
We like the restaurant. But these kids, what do they do when they're getting hungry?
They order it.
Right.
On their
if
phone.
they want anything, if they're interested in anything, what do? Let me show you. This is what we do, right? Take out this one. DoorDash. Which one? 2, 3, first one, and boom. Order.
Yeah. And
20 minutes, it's here, right? And I'm done.
Yeah.
And I'm not hungry anymore. Problem solved.
Right.
You and I will go to the restaurant, right?
That's true. That's the first thing. Yeah.
We're going to have lunch. They need to be fed. So that's a different generation. So the generation of the digital world is handling it with the digital technology, right?
Right.
Right. 99.9% of the businesses in the U.S. alone, do not do cybersecurity.
Really?
99.9% of the businesses, hear me out. We're talking about tens of millions of businesses that don't do cybersecurity. And then you ask yourself, well, how come? Why is that? It's because cybersecurity is complicated, it's expensive, there are too many solutions out there. I never know what to choose.
That's a fair statement. Very fair.
So what do I do if I have to do cybersecurity? I call a consultant. I go to my ISP and I ask them for a cyber package. And I don't know what they do, but they provide something there in technology, right? But the bottom line is that 99.9% of the U.S. businesses, and I don't want to even talk about worldwide, but here in the U.S., 99.9% of the businesses do not do cybersecurity, proactive cybersecurity, asking the question about how are they protected? How are the digital assets are protected? And I'm not talking, when you talk about restaurant, I'm not talking about your POS, the point of sale, right? I'm not talking about that one because that one is fully encrypted end to end. You don't need to worry about that. And if anything, credit cards are insured by the creditors, right? So you don't need to worry about that. Don't think about the immediate one, the money. Because if I'm your hacker, I'm not interested in your POS. I'm not interested in your credit cards. I'm interested in your digital world, in your digital assets, which is your social media profiles, the one that make you first on DoorDash, the one that make people aware of your menu.
Why is a hacker interested in that versus where the money is?
Because the big money is not with the restaurant. The big money is with the big boys, with the 0.1% that are doing cybersecurity. So what do? I need an army against those 0.1. I need an army to work for me. So I will use your restaurant because when you go to sleep, your internet connection in the restaurant is not going to sleep. Your social media is not going to sleep. So I'm going to use your computation power in your restaurant, your infrastructure, your internet connection to go against the big boys. I don't want your restaurant down. I don't want to shut down your restaurant. I'm not interested in stealing your few $1,000s every day that you make in your restaurant. I'm not interested.
They could shut that down pretty quickly,
right?
But they want to continually use.
So
you want the
up
CPU
and running,
or the computer power unit.
Exactly. I want you up and running, and I want 100 million next to you, up and running worldwide that I can use anytime I want against the big boys, against those that 0.1 where the money is.
Oh, so they're collectively using a little piece of the pie of each restaurant or business's computing power.
That's the computing power. That's one aspect. Another aspect is your social media. You invest a lot in marketing.
Yes.
You want your restaurant to be top, the number one in DoorDash, right? When these guys are looking for lunch, you appear first. You pay money for these things, and you invest in this. Marketing agencies and marketing campaigns and all this working for you. Social media, people know about you. People read reviews about you. So I want to use your reputation to do something else for me. So how do you protect your digital world or your social media, your profiles, when it's out there and you're telling the world about it? How do you protect it from being hijacked?
Right.
Because I can probably do something with all this reputation that you got now on your restaurant and all the investment that you made. If I hack your social media, if I hack your digital world, I can use that reputation for my own benefit now.
What do they normally do when they hack it? You're talking about ransomware, or are you
No,
talking
I'm talking about talking on your behalf with those that you talk to normally and get them to do something for me.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's
okay.
How things happen today. Sending emails to those that you're normally connected with, right? I don't need to hack your restaurant. I just need to know your credentials to your Gmail, all right, or to your whatever email that you use out there.
So it's more of a clandestine network. In
the military language, it's the recon.
Okay.
Right.
Recon,
I do recon on you. I do passive recon. I just look at you. I observe. I learn about your business. I learn about your restaurant. I learn about your digital world. Great. Now I do active recon.
Is this like ISR, the intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance?
Yes, it is exactly that, only in the digital world.
Okay. In the civilian world, but just not military applications.
Right.
And there's always potential there.
Right.
But
it's basically the same. It's identical between the physical and the cyber, the virtual one.
Right.
It's identical. Only the virtual, we don't have the physical notion of what it is that we deal with. I don't see the enemy.
Right.
I don't know their method of attack, because it can be anyway. It can be with this TV behind you now, with the internet that we have here. Maybe a smartwatch up, smart clock up there. Maybe your smartwatch up here, right? So anything here is what we call a vector of, when you do normal things with it, we call it a vector of business, right? But when people misuse that, we call it a vector of attack.
Right.
So the hacker or your attacker, your adversary, when they come in and when they want to do their things, they don't implement their own vectors. They don't build their own email system. They use your own. They use everything your business have as a vector to execute their attack.
It's a Trojan horse.
Right. For them to do that, they need to learn you.
Okay.
They need to learn about your business. They need to be inside your business for a little while.
That's common?
That's very common. That's
so
very common.
So we don't get too bogged in details, because I am fascinated by the details. But what does CyTech do to ameliorate that or negate that or protect?
Yeah. So the first thing we did in CyTech is to say, we are here to solve the problem that cybersecurity created. The field of cybersecurity created a problem that is a three-headed problem. And as I mentioned, a lot of vendors are doing a lot of things, very hard to choose. Everything is complicated. It sounds very complicated. The cyber people are in the room, the smart people in the room. Everything is complicated. And it's a bottomless pit of money. I don't know when is enough if I'm a business owner. So we're in CyTech, we put these three challenges as the main problem that we're here to solve. And now the question is, how do we do that? Going back to my passion and teaching and all that, it's about knowledge sharing. So what we did in CyTech, we built this platform, we call it AQUILA. And what AQUILA does is basically bring to life almost every day of my own 30 years experience in cybersecurity. Everything I saw, everything I did, everywhere I was, all the areas, again, that I was fortunate enough to be there, is brought to life through AQUILA, and is put together in a platform that can serve the big boys out there, right? All the big names out there, and all those 0.1 that consumes so much to do cybersecurity, but also it can help the 99.9% that don't do cybersecurity unless they have to, unless they're with the back against the wall, whether they have an incident or whether they need to comply with something and they bring a consultant. And I've seen those everywhere, not just in the US, all around the world. It's the same story. We don't do cybersecurity unless we have to.
And generally it's too late.
Right. And when you have to, it's too late. When you call the IT guy because my computer doesn't work, it's too late. It's game over, right? We want to be with you before it happens. We want to be with you when it happens, because then the story that the analogy that I use here is, think about it. You know, you're home, you're at home. Somebody's playing with the doorknob from the outside. You hear somebody trying to get into your house. So what do? You call 911, right? So you're hoping the police will come in before they will get in. So my question to all these 99.9% businesses that avoid doing cybersecurity and I'm justifying them for avoiding so far. To this day, they avoid it, and I understand that. But do you want the police to show up when somebody's trying to break into your house and you hear them from the outside? Or do you want the police to show up when the house is empty? That's the question you need to ask yourself. So if you wait with it, if you don't do proactive cybersecurity like what we offer today to all these small businesses, then you will probably deal with an empty house when it happens. Because when it happens, it's too late. And we've seen restaurants.
Right.
They lose revenue just by not having their online presence out there.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. It's an increasingly
they're
digital
not on
world.
DoorDash. You know, the restaurant's open, everything is open. They pay rent, they pay rents, they pay suppliers, they pay everything. But DoorDash is not working for them because their online is down.
Right.
Something happened.
Right. That's pretty amazing. Because even us, I mean, as tech savvy as we are, but initially we just had a website. Now we have all these online tools. Yep. Now we have a new marketing.
You have your social media profiles.
Right.
That's very important for you. It's your image, right? What
right.
if this one is taken over
by
someone?
So what happens? So you guys are the digital shield. Or your long-range reconnaissance patrol, or recon, whatever military term we want to call it.
Let's go this way. We're on your side.
Right.
We're on your side, and we know how your adversaries work. So when we come into your business, whether it's a business of, it can be a restaurant, it can be a bank. I don't care what the size of the business or what the revenue from the business is. I care about protecting your business. I care about bringing value. I care about leaving you with the knowledge and experience and tools to protect your business. And I'm with you all the way.
And you guys, you approached us because you saw us as a community hub.
Right.
To protect the smaller guys.
Right.
And that's what we want to do. I mean, the big boys don't need our help. They can afford it. They have all these consultants. They can do all these things. So what would CyTech do? I'm a restaurant. I'm a restaurant owner. I pretend I'm, like, hey, I have this great restaurant concept. What would they need to do to...
So the same thing with your car. Okay, it's the same thing. You bought the car, you care about your car, but you don't necessarily understand what's under the hood. That's the sales pitch of what we're trying to do for the restaurants, for the small businesses. We want to take care of it for you. You come to my shop, I'll take care of the car. Here are the keys. You can go for another 6 months.
Okay. Cool.
Right? That's what we do. So what we offer today is to take care of it for them. We put the basic stuff that we need to know what's going on in your restaurant, know what's going on in your small business. For us, enough to have enough eyes out there at your restaurant, at your social media, everything that you have, with a fraction of the cost that you pay today for your ISP. So you already pay for your internet connection, right?
Right.
And they promise you all these cyber packages and all that.
Right.
You don't know what they do? Great. We will know what they do. And for the fraction of that cost, we made it so easy and so simple for small businesses to say, yes, I'm in.
Well, that's what I was excited about, because you were offering these great costs.
And to us, it's something that we do anyway. We monitor anyway. We have the technology. We've developed the platform. But I hate to see that one going to the big boys, to the 0.1 that can afford it. I want to make it available for everybody. I think cybersecurity is a commodity. Cybersecurity, I always say that to my students, cybersecurity is the tail. It's not the dog. The dog wags the tail, not the other way around.
Right.
We do cybersecurity for businesses, not for cybersecurity people, not for those those wannabe CISOs out there to put people with the crown and say, oh, this guy and that guy, and Chen is in a podcast now. Oh, see, he's so important. We're not here to crown me. Cybersecurity needs to help businesses thrive, need to take care of it for them. Don't worry about cybersecurity. I got it for you. It's not going to break your piggy bank. You know,
Right.
You work very hard for your money. I understand that. I work very hard for my money. Making money is important, but not this way today. Cybersecurity just had an event in San Francisco, the biggest in the world. It's called RSA, the RSA conference in San Francisco. That one, the overall money that is going on around this 1 week in San Francisco is almost $1 billion.
Really?
In that conference, you will find the 0.1%. 99.9% either they cannot afford to go there or they're not even interested in that one.
Yeah, they just don't know enough about it.
Because I'm going to go there and I'm going to hear more fear, uncertainty, and doubt, more FUD.
Right.
Right? Why? Why would I do it to myself? I will go to a restaurant conference, right? That will pay off.
Right. Well, I was like, when Drew approached me about this, I'm like, well, you're not doing it? But that's not his expertise.
Right.
But it's your very much expertise.
Right.
His is developing the technology tools.
Right. And we love working with Drew, a technology guy that represents so much of the new generation today.
Right.
I always say that about my kids. Yeah, they wake up in the morning, they have oxygen and internet, they're good. they can go on.
A little bit of food.
Right.
But they got DoorDash.
If they have food, yeah, they have DoorDash, right. So it's very easy for them to consume technology. While where we come from, I remember working in projects, worldwide projects, as a technology guy, not even cyber, connecting cables, doing the infrastructure of routers between banks. So I was there to build the internet that it is today. Right? I was fortunate enough. The problem is that so many people that with my generation, with this experience, and there are many out there, they don't share the knowledge.
Right.
They try to make try to make cybersecurity more complicated,
so they can make more money.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
that's what I love about what we're trying to do. That's why we're going to push it out. You're our official.
But money is important. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm following Simon Sinek when he says money is very important for a business, but the purpose of a business is not to make money. The purpose of a business is go from here to there. There's a purpose for the business, just like a car, right?
Right.
The purpose of a car is not to buy gas. The purpose of a car is to take you from A to B.
Right.
And I admire Simon Sinek on this one because it really arranged the thought on me on how to do business. And again, following everything that we went through in our private life taught me that nobody has tomorrow. So
Right.
as much money as you can make today, I'm not sure I'm going to be here tomorrow to enjoy it.
Right.
So I might as well do something else other than money to
Business
leave my
with
mark.
a purpose.
Right. So our purpose is to help bring cybersecurity to far more businesses, to not worry about it too much, and to not break the piggy bank, and not to worry about complexity and about being tied with this vendor or that vendor. They need to be able to control cybersecurity. They need to be able to wag the tail,
Right.
and not worry about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's increasingly important. And as I see, and at the HRA as president of it, I want to have these services, all these
Yep.
tools available for this increasingly digital world, for the smaller restaurateur, for the smaller business guys that
Right.
just don't think about it. But they
Right,
don't have
and
the
that's the
expertise.
brilliancy of the HRA, of the Hispanic Restaurant Association, and everything that you represent. Because when I looked at your website, and I welcome everybody to look at your website and just understand what I saw there. I saw an organization that cares about their members, understand their members, landscape, understand their business. Yes, we need to make money. I'm not going to apologize for making money.
Right.
But there's a way to make money, and there's another way to make money. I'm not making my money the other way, and I sense that through your website. I looked at the website, and I sense an organization that is there to help, that is there to bring those restaurants to achieve more with less. Maybe we can get you financial advisors. You need a loan for your business to grow your restaurant, to expand your restaurant. You need a marketing agency. We have those for you. And then I said, I read this, and if I'm a restaurant, I'm looking at the website, oh my God, I have everything here. So I'm going to team up with this guy, and I'm going to put cybersecurity in there as well.
Yeah, it's an important part.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how vulnerable it was until you showed us. And then, now Drew gets all the reports and just kind of shows. It's really, really good. And as I think about it just from I always think about physical security and all those different things, but because I'm not totally in that world, I just didn't give it that much thought.
Yeah.
I thought, the normal protections would, but this is just more of I call it the digital shield out there.
Right.
And like, oh, okay, the force fields are up. Now
Yep.
I know I can rest assured.
And if through the HRA we can get to your 2,500 members and get them to be protected, again, they don't need to understand cybersecurity. They just need to say, yes, I'm in, protect me.
Right.
And if we get to do that, that's another 2,500 businesses that we take off from the list of 99.9% that is not doing cybersecurity. So we made the world better. And that's the purpose. That's the goal.
Yeah.
The money will help us
we'll
get
certainly
there.
do there. Yeah.
Yep.
And we're, our goal is to just tell people about what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand, the first 100 people that sign up, you're going to get.
Oh yeah, they have a very attractive package with us. Even though the 101 will not need to break their big piggy bank as well.
That's true. Yeah, I understand that. So.
Yeah, we offer this for $199 a month. The whole package of what we need to look at with your business, so you don't need to worry about it. We give you the agent that we develop. We give you the SOC that is monitoring all these services. And we have real people monitoring. It's not just machines. It's not just AI.
I'm thinking the Tactical Operations Center. What's the civilian term for that?
It's a Cybersecurity Operations Center.
Okay,
it's Cybersecurity Operations.
Okay.
It's like Cyber Command Center.
Okay,
for
there
the military,
you go.
right? So that's the civilian one. It's a Cybersecurity Operations Center.
I've been out forever, and I still struggle with civilian terms. You can take the guy out of the military, but you can't take the military out of the guy. So, well, I'm going to end on this, but thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
There's so much more. If you go to, where would they go to find more out about you?
Well, our website is up there. HRA. We have the article that we put out there, right? The blog.
Yeah, if you go to the HRA website,
right,
they're one of our technology.
CyTech over there. Yep.
Hit on the logo; it'll go directly to their site.
Yep.
So.
Or you can just contact John, and through John, you contact me.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I'll be delighted and happy and honored to bring cybersecurity to places that it's not a thing.
That's what we're excited about, helping more than just restaurants,
right.
but the business community in general.
Correct.
So we look forward to working with you in a long and prosperous relationship. So
thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.